DK Bones here. I want to talk to something that's close to my heart. Um, I feel it's real important to talk about. Um, it's really deep, dealing with our nation's decline in our literacy rate. I found this article on National Literacy Institute.com, um, basically talking about what's going on in our country with our literacy and our youth, and just people not being able to read or write in our country. Many article gives a definition of literacy. I'm not going to go over that. Um, Global overall literacy rates stands at a compatible level for individuals age 15 and above. The combined literacy rate for both genders is 86.3%. Males age group is exhibit literacy rate of 90%, while with the females closely trailing at 82.7%. Notably, substantial variations exist between countries. Um, they're going to talk about adult literacy rate 96% or higher, with developed countries with a 65% rate. So basically, countries that have money and countries that don't have money. This is what I wanted to get to. On average, 79% of the U.S. adults nationwide are literate in, in 2024. 21% of adults in the U.S. are illiterate in 2024, which is alarming. 54% of adults have a literacy rate below a sixth grade level. 20% are below fifth grade level, which is very alarming. Like 54% of adults in America, literacy rate is sixth grade level. Low levels of literacy rate cost up the U.S. up to $2 trillion per year. So, there's a video with Dr. Phil and I guess she's like a school administrator, or she does stuff with the schools across the U.S. But a lot of it stems from re-education, doing programs outside of school, other programs to catch people up from where they're supposed to be, where the system is set up right now, where they're just passing people along. But in the long run, it's going to cost us money in the back end, because these people still can't read, write, and there's other things they can't do where we're caught. It's costing us money. Where instead of what used to happen is, if you can't pass to the next grade, we fail you until you approve. You're able to get to the next grade. But now they're so fixated on hurting people's feelings, where it's costing taxpayers more money. I'm gonna go on that in another stream, but the other bullet point is 34% of adults lacking literacy proficiency were born outside the U.S. So we got people that aren't U.S. citizens that they can't read properly because they're trying to transition from their language to the English language. That's just my theory. It goes on to talk about the highest literacy rate is Massachusetts, child literacy rate. The lowest is New Hampshire with child literacy rate. New Mexico. Sorry, I skipped over that. New Hampshire is the highest percentage of adults, and the lowest is California. Talks about U.S. is ranked 36 in literacy rate. Um, this whole section, paragraph, you can read it on your own. Talks about basically income of countries of uh, being able to, I guess, the money going into the schools and being able to get things out to people to read and write and everything. It also talks about um, countries that deny women from being able to read and write, which for me, there's 36 in the world. If other countries will allow their women to read and write in those countries, I think we would be further behind. Uh, Go further down in the article. For some reason, it cut off the rest of my article. I don't know why I have these comments. But a further, let me see. Oh, here we go. Sorry about that. It talks about the teacher shortage. I'm gonna go over this article or this section of the article. The teacher shortage is a critical issue in education stems from complex interplay of factors, increase in demand for teachers, retention challenges, and aging workforces contribute to dearth of qualified educators. However, the shortage is not solely a matter of quantity, it's also influenced by quality of teacher environment. Students' behaviors play a pivotal role impacting teachers' retention and job satisfaction. Um, there's a lot of teachers that are quitting because of behaviors in the schools, and there's no question behind that. Um, and right now, they're getting teachers that aren't qualified qualified teachers. They're getting teachers in quantity, but they're not qualified to be teachers. Meaning, you're getting teachers that are up there trying to be they know less than sometimes than the students on some of the subjects that they're trying to teach, and that's not in all um, schools, but in the schools that are in poverty, that's what they're getting, and you're getting teachers that don't want to deal with behaviors of students, especially further in that article, it talks about parents' absence. Um, they're not getting any backup from the parents, like in the good old days in the 80s, 90s, and way back. If a teacher had a problem in the classroom and they would call the parent, it would be addressed. But now the parents are actually backing up these students for their bad behavior. And that's for another discussion, but it is the main problem of teachers not wanting to teach, qualified teachers not wanting to teach anymore. Further in the article, it says classroom management becomes a significant aspect of addressing the teacher shortage, with challenges in this area affecting the overall teaching experience. Professional development that emphasizes effective classroom management strategies and equipping teachers to handle diverse students' needs is essential. Additional, additional, the need for ongoing support, collaboration with parents. Like I was saying, there's none of that right now. I mean, I shouldn't say there's none of that, but it's not like it used to be. It used to be at least 90%. Now you're not getting that. It's It takes the cooperation of a parent, a caring parent, and caring teacher. And right now, you're getting not a lot of the both. You got teachers are saying, well, you know what, if the parent doesn't care, I don't care about their student. I'm going to focus my attention on the student as parents that care, that will call me back or email me back. Um, Additional need for ongoing support, collaboration with the parents and communities, and integration of social media emotional learning programs into this curriculum are crucial components of the comprehensive approach. By recognizing the interconnected nature of the teacher-student teachers shortage and student behavior and challenges, education systems can develop strategies that foster positive learning and environments, search, support teacher retention, and ultimately enhance the overall quality of education. So there has to start from home. You have to have a good family environment, which is hard now because you have most of the time you have one home, one parent homes, which is hard because the parent's always working. But I remember I had friends that I could speak of that had one parent homes, but they had a support system. And right now, a lot of people don't have that support system when you're in one parent home or they don't trust people. Like I had a friend where his mom was single. She had her mom and dad, and then plus she had friends and other family members that would help out. I remember my friend would come over and hang out because there's a trust there. Right now, in this environment in this country, there's not a trust system there. Um, Further on in the article, it talks about the National Learning Institute conducted a survey among classrooms, teachers to identify the reasons behind their decisions to exit the profession. Repeatedly, responses pointed to key areas with classroom management ranking as a primary concern, while administrative support and pay was identified as the least influential factors. So yeah, if you don't have control of your environment, I don't care what kind of job you're in. If you're not in control of that environment, you could be um, working at a pizza place, amusement park, um, IT, military, or whatever. If you don't feel like you're in control of your environment, it doesn't matter how much you're making. You're going to be stressed out, and you're not going to want to stay in that environment, not for long. So these teachers need help, but also the teachers that want to be there and educate or um, qualified for it. These teachers that aren't qualified for it or just bodies there, they don't care. They're just collecting a paycheck. Moreover, teachers express significant apprehension about the absence of parental support or engagement. They also highlight the challenge of having to instruct students in various subjects, including the content delivery, social and emotional learning, and motivating disinterested students. That the data indicated a noteworthy trend of students being extensively educated in social media, reaching alarming levels. So they're more engaged into Facebook or TikTok. Well, I guess I'm old because my daughter doesn't use Facebook anymore, but all these social media outlets, they're more interested in that than the education that a teacher is giving them. And that should be alarming to not just myself as a parent, but teachers and as a nation, because all these other nations, they have strict guidelines to what their students can and can and cannot do in the classrooms. And we're so worried about these students' feelings instead of educating them, getting ready for the future and the challenges from other people in other nations that we're actually harming them instead of supporting them. It goes on to talk about the teacher shortage, in which fields that they're short in, but I think they're short in all across the board. This is the one article, not article, but video. If you do, I'm gonna link this website in my. I'm gonna put this link in my at the end of my video. You watch these two videos. Dr. Phil is very good. It just follows up on these articles. And last but not least, it talks about the, just gives me different demographics and statistics of the literacy rate in the country. Literacy data and its impact on the nation. Literacy has become such a serious problem in our country that 130 million adults are now unable to read a simple story to their children. So we have a problem where parents can't read to their own children. I remember my even when my dad and mom worked 95 or 10 plus hours, they would sit down or have me sit down and read to them, or we would watch a show and then we describe it or say something over at dinner. But we don't have that anymore. It's a sad state what we're doing. And it all comes down to the nuclear family. And I'm not one to talk. I've been married 3 times, and I can't judge other people, but I do support my children in every way possible, and big on their education. Whatever their mom says they're behind or whatever, I'm there to try to support them. But we have to do better as a nation, even if you're in a divided family, as a father, mother, or whatever. Put our differences aside and help our children to build a better future. 20%, 21% of adults in the U.S. are illiterate. In 2022, 54%, I think I already talked about the 54%, 45 million of functional illiterate and read below a 5th grade level, which is very crazy. 44% of American adults do not read a book in a year, which I push myself. I'm a big Tom Clancy fan, and his books are pretty long. But reading and getting out of watching movies or TV, social media, or whatever, and getting into a different world where you push everything aside and you use your own imagination is a very, very relaxing. For me, it's a very relaxing thing, and to get children or other people to start reading, I think that's very important. It talks about this top states. I think I went over that of child literacy in the bottom 3 states. There you go. Literacy data is impact on the economy, which I talked about. 3 out of 4 people on welfare can't read. 20% of Americans read below the level needed to earn a living wage. So I think I'm gonna have a different point of view than other people, but when people talk about minimum wage and all this other crap, these people that push that minimum wage stuff, they know that some people can't, they don't have the knowledge, and they use you to push their agenda. So it's very important that, I'm not trying to get political, but it's very important that try to lower this number. 50% of unemployed between the ages of 16 and 21 cannot read well enough to be considered for functionally literate. 50% of unemployed people. So basically, it's also the people that aren't even trying. They're not even trying to get a job or anything. They're just dependent on the government, and they're just relying on, oh, okay, well, yeah, I can't read or whatever, so you don't even know what you're signing up for. Between 46% and 51% of adults have an income well below the poverty level because of an inability to read. Literacy costs American taxpayers an estimate of $20 billion each year, which are in the video with Dr. Phil talks about the programs and everything that costs the American taxpayers because they pass people along. Like I said, because of the No Child Left Behind Act back in the 90s, where you have these other programs you have to pay for, which they don't tell you about. We have to pay for people that should have learned when they were younger, but now you have to catch them up so they'll be able to be a profitable person or a good member of society, I guess. School dropout costs our nation $240 billion in social service expenditures and lost tax revenues. This is one of the most alarming things. Three out of 5 people in American prisons cannot read. And then it talks about to determine how many prison beds were needed in the future years. Some states, I don't know if it's the state I live in, the state of Florida, actually based part of their projections on how well current elementary students are performing on reading tests. So you got government officials, you got prisons monitoring your kids' education, which I think it's a whole, probably can go into a big whole rabbit hole of conspiracy crap. But they're monitoring children's education to determine if they're going to come to prison or not. And if that's not a wake-up call to anybody that watches the video, then we need to do better with our youth. We have to do way better. 85% of juvenile offenders have problems reading. Approximately 50% of Americans read so poorly that they are unable to perform simple tasks such as reading prescription drug labels. And to wrap it up, talks about the literacy data and impact in the classroom. Approximately 40% of the students across the nations cannot read at basic level. Almost 7% of low-income fourth grade students cannot read at a basic level. 49% of fourth graders eligible for free and reduced price meals finish below basic or NAEP reading test. It's just a sad state. I think we can do better as a nation. I think we can do better as a people, no matter what color you are. Reading is important. Writing is important. No matter what you read or what you write, it's important to get your own point of view by reading and not listening to what a video tells you or whatever. Like, that's why this article in my video. Don't just listen to what I say. Um, Read the article for yourself. Don't let people fool you. Um, for me, it's I'm not the greatest reader, but I try and I read at least a couple books a year. Like I said, Tom Clancy for me is a big read for me. I love it because it lets me escape from my normal day to day. You may think, oh well, Tom Clancy's like spy and war and all kinds of stuff, but it still helps me to escape. Um, if you like what this video, please subscribe and like it. Again, just 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 push each other to be a better nation and look out for each other. I'm gonna be dropping some other videos. My other videos were entertainment, but this was like close to my heart. If you like it, then like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.
Audio Jungle.